When you, Mary Perry Stone, are a young, unemployed artist living in New York City during the Great Depression, you'll join the Artists Union, created in 1934 for both unemployed and employed artists. Active in the union, busy with sit-ins, meetings, demonstrations, and marches, you'll join with hundreds of other artists like Eugenia Gershoy and David Smith. It'll be the artists' compassion for their fellow artists and their awareness of the horrible conditions of poverty and suffering all around that Philip Evergood will recall. Poor and living in squalor conditions yourself, it's in May of 1937 when you're finally hired as a sculptor and teacher on the New York City Federal Arts Project, a section of the WPA. The project saves you, for as Philip Gaston remembers, it kept me alive and working. It was my education. You will recall Anton Refugier and his rent parties, and Ben Shawn and his camera, and sculpting in stone and clay. You'll remember the children you taught and the debutantes volunteering, and Harlem and Gwendolyn Brooks. You have the highest praise for all your supervisors, some of them artists themselves. You know artists working in all kinds of mediums, all kinds of styles, creating works for schools, hospitals, libraries. You recall a respect among the artists, more abstract, less abstract, social realist, non-social realist. That didn't bother us. We'd talk about art, talk about life, said Harry Sternberg. There's influences from Europe, influences from Mexico, and influences from the artists with you. There's Stuart Davis separating his art from his politics. There's Hugo Gellert saying there's no separation between his work and his politics. There's your art, sculpting and painting what you want to say about your world and the injustices home and abroad. There's the years of the war, years in working in shipyards, then years once again poor. You'll paint the homeless, the workers, and the mothers and children, the murder of Emmett Till. You'll paint children playing and your visions of hell and war. You'll draw card players, cows, peacocks, and do sketches of Nina Simone. You'll share Elizabeth Old's belief as an artist. We choose all sides of life, searching for the vital and significant. You'll see Goya's work at the Prado, for it's inspired you all your life. In your 80s and 90s, you'll still be expressing your hatred of capitalism as a system. You'll paint murals expressing great wealth equals poverty and exploitation. You'll never admire the wealthy who ignore the sufferings of the sick, poor, and dispossessed. You'll know you'll never be mainstream, but that doesn't bother you. You'll hope someday there's another federal arts project along with the WPA. And finally, in your 90s, you'll express sadness for all the artists who had to be commercial, saying, I have been lucky to have been able to paint what I wanted.